Kane Dynasty kicks things off here on Chicago Bears Now. He says Rams have the edge in all critical categories, quarterback, head coach, and trenches, so weather is our hope. I don't think it's just that. First of all, I think the head coach, yes, Sean McVay has been around longer. That doesn't mean Ben Johnson can't outcoach him. Ben Johnson's a high-level coach. Quarterback, yes, Stafford has been around longer. He's probably going to win the MVP. That doesn't mean Caleb Williams can't go toe-to-toe with him or even potentially outplay him. And offensive line, I'll say this, the Bears' O-line is better than the Rams' O-line. Now, if Dotson plays, it's a little bit closer. Yes, their D-line is better, but I think the skill position groups are close. I don't think they're, just across the board much better than the Bears. Plus, they haven't been playing their best recently. I think the weather can play a factor and can be a bit of an equalizer. So I think it goes more. There's more to this than just the weather. All right, super chat from Jerome. The secondary and linebackers have got to step it up to win. Yeah, need to play like they did in the second half for longer portions of the game, right? I thought the Bears' back seven was much better after halftime. They stuffed the run, which really spearheaded the comeback because it seemed like Matt LaFleur was trying to run the clock out in the third quarter and could not. Josh Jacobs had 8 yards and 11 carries on his final 11 carries. So, I think in general the defense needs to play better throughout the game, but so does the entire team. All right, guys, new merch alert. We got a lot to go through here. It's the Iceman collection, chatsports.com/Iceman. You got the Navy t-shirt available. It's like the Jordan floating in the air. It's the 4th and 8 pass for Caleb Williams. The Iceman came out. $30 for the t-shirts. We have them in navy. It's also available in white with the orange silhouette, the ice coming off the silhouette there as well. Those are $30. You can get the hoodies for $45. Chatsports.com/Iceman. Same link for the individuals. You'll be able to click and shop from there. Chatsports.com/Iceman. You got the white hoodie available as well. And then you got the 2 bundle options. The first one is the white hoodie with the navy t-shirt. Full value $75, marked down for $65 right now. Awesome deal. Chatsports.com/Iceman1. That's with the white hoodie, navy t-shirt. Chatsports.com/Iceman2, navy hoodie, white t-shirt. $65 as well. We've had people ask, what about same color shirt and hoodie? We could probably work something out. DM me at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram. You could also email bears@chatsports.com. If you want the same colors, we could probably get you that same price at $10 off. We'll work something out for you. But chatsports.com/Iceman gets you to where you want to go. You can find the bundles if you go to that initial link as well. All right, Luke Makowak, freezing temps. Appreciate the 10. He says, Bears secondary likely building a game plan around Puka. Feels like a game the Rams lean on Davante, having balled out in the weather for years in Green Bay. Yeah, I think Puka is the guy that concerns you more in terms of anywhere on the field. He could take a slant 50 yards. You can use him on jet sweeps, stuff like that. Whereas Adams is probably going to be more red zone, big moments, one-on-one on the perimeter, stuff like that. So it will be interesting if the Bears do have a specific strategy on who they want to take out more. I will say this about Davante Adams, who I respect a lot as a player. As he's gotten a little older, especially in cold weather, he does not like getting hit. So how much are they going to put him over the middle in 0-degree temperature? So I think Puka's the guy that they're going to be running a lot of crossers with and stuff like that. He is a zone beater. So do you man up Nacua sometimes and try to win that way? So, DA is going to have to feel it out early and kind of figure out what is and what isn't working. But they're obviously a very dynamic duo. Okay, Landon Cummings, how did you think Shamar Turner played this year? That's random. I thought he was starting to come along. They moved him to edge those last couple games before he tore his ACL. I thought as a run defender he was making some plays, but too small of a sample size. We hope he gets back healthy, ready for training camp, or at least at some point in the preseason. But talented player out of A&M, had an injury in the pre-draft process, then, of course, tears the ACL, so he's been banged up a lot the last couple years. Hopefully he gets healthy. He's a versatile player who can play inside and out. Which quarterback plays better this weekend? Type CW for Caleb Williams, MS for Matthew Stafford. I expect Caleb to play well. I expect him to make plays, and Stafford's been there and done that. So we'll see who comes out on top. Elijah, appreciate the 2. Has DJ done enough late to be a roster lock in 26? Roster lock feels strong. They're not going to cut him or anything, but could they opt to trade him if they want to free up some money to attack a different position? Certainly possible, but again, let's let this play out, see what happens. We're all focused on the here and now and trying to make a deep playoff run. All right, Mason, thoughts on possible Khalil Mack return? He still plays well and has expressed his love for Chicago. Bear down. Feels good to be a Bears fan again. Yeah, I think you're going to hear that name again, just like last year, and I stand by it. If he hit free agency, if you remember, like an hour before free agency opened last year, he re-signed with the Chargers. I think had he hit the open market, the Bears were going to make him an offer. Well, he's set to be a free agent again. Now, he's year to year. He could retire. But I'd be open to it. I think he could help you on a 1-year deal. Maybe it's like 12 to 15 million bucks for 2026. You're going to hear that name as kind of a secondary option if they don't take a big swing in a trade or something like that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We have you guys covered throughout the Bears postseason. And guess what? Even when the Bears are out and the season comes to an end, hopefully that's not until after the Super Bowl, but whenever it is, we'll still have daily content. So subscribe 24/7, 365. Bears Now has you covered with daily videos. All right, Marcus, if the Bears win and Stafford retires, is it crazy to say Caleb enters next season as the best QB in the NFC? I've seen this talking point out there. Nick Wright said it. If Stafford were to retire, there's a world where Caleb enters next year as the best QB in the NFC. I still think there's probably another level to reach to just make that claim, but if they make a deep playoff run, who am I to argue with it? Like, if they made the Super Bowl, like, he'd be the last quarterback standing in the NFC this year. So, look, from a talent standpoint, he can absolutely get there. It's just tightening up some of the early game consistencies. But he's a big game hunter. He makes a lot of huge plays. He's clutch as hell. He's already one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC. There's no question about that. Brian Cook, how do we feel about Cairo these days? McManus made me feel pretty good to have him. I think pretty good, man. I'd say right now, if you ask me, he's your kicker next year. Like, yeah, again, it's frustrating when there's certain kicks he can't attempt that others can, but he's also rock solid where a lot of kickers are not. Like, Cairo Santos is the ultimate, like, he's very good. Sure, the leg strength limitations at times are frustrating, but not only can you do a lot worse, he's one of the better kickers in the league. He's a top 10 kicker in the NFL. Maybe he's not top 5 because he's not banging in 60, 62-yarders, but he's top 10. And he can kick in tough conditions too, which is a requirement when you play at Soldier Field 8 or 9 games a year. Predict the score, Bears, Rams, who you got winning, and what do you think the final score is going to be? Let's hear it from you guys down in the comment section below. Bears, Rams, Soldier Field. Drop those score predictions. I got Bears 30-28. All right, Ben, thoughts on what Case Keenum said to the team? Yeah, so this is interesting. I'll spend a moment on this. So Case Keenum, his message to the team when they got back into the facility this week is, hey, the Packers game is over. We have to flush it, regardless of how awesome, regardless of how emotional it was. And he used an example from his days in Minnesota, the Minneapolis Miracle. Remember when they beat was it the Saints? Yes, it was the Saints on the walk-off touchdown to Stephon Diggs 8 years ago to advance to the NFC Championship game. I don't know if he said that they struggled to move past that and get ready for the next game, but he's mostly saying like, hey, as awesome as that was and as good of a memory as it will be, we're on to the next game now. Like, the goals don't stop, right? Us as fans can talk about it forever, right? But the players have to turn the page. Like, the Green Bay thing was awesome. You know, once the season's over and you're reminiscing on everything, you can have those thoughts. But, like, you got to hit the ground running to get ready for an even stronger opponent in the Rams. So, listen, I think Case Keenum's been a super valuable resource, not only to Caleb Williams, but to Ben Johnson and this entire team. So, he's been through it. He's seen it. And I think that's a really, really good and important message. Like, hey, it's another game now. Turn the page. All right, Michael Weston, what's needed for the run game to be effective? I think just, more timing up these blocks a little bit better. I think the timing's been a little off. That was the issue the first month of the year. We know this offensive line's very capable in the running game. it has some fatigue set in. These guys have played a lot of snaps this year, so it's hard to say. But I think just refining the details. We know this run game works. Just the last couple of weeks, it hadn't been at its best. The Rams are going to be a challenge, obviously, but I think they can be more efficient and more explosive than they have been the last 2 or 3 weeks. All right, guys, appreciate all the questions. Really good ones in there. If you didn't get yours answered, DM me on social media at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can find me on all 3 platforms, same handle at HGramNFL. We will continue the conversation over there. Bear down.